For those of you not aware, we exist in the third dimension. Reptilians are theorized to exist in the fourth dimension, which is time. Two elements that are really important. One is HanPurple. Purple is exclusively related to reptilians of royalty. Very important color in the occult. The second one is liquid mercury. Planet Mercury was named after Hermes Trismegistus, a very high figure in the occult. How these two elements can be used with each other to break interdimensional barriers. They use this in a combination of human blood and DNA to actually assume human form and come into our dimension. HanPurple is an ancient pigment they found. Eliminates an entire dimension. It makes waves go two-dimensional. It's a chemical composition of the pigment barium copper silicate, because reptilians have copper-based blood. At normal temperatures, it's an insulator and it's non-magnetic. Along with its many fine properties, barium copper silicate has many electrons, some of which spin up and some of which spin down. Something unusual happens as the temperature drops as a magnetic field is applied. HanPurple still has one trick up its sleeve. Drop the temperature some more and something happens to the magnetic wave traveling through the substance. At higher temperatures, it propagates like a regular wave, traveling in 3 dimensions. Get under 1 degree Kelvin, no longer has a vertical component. It propagates in 2 dimensions only. Scientists think this has something to do with the structure of barium copper silicate. Its components are arranged like layers of tiles, so they don't stack up neatly. Each layer's tiles are slightly out of sync with the layer below them. This may frustrate the wave and force it to go two-dimensional. HanPurple has the ability to go from one dimension down to another. An acute electromagnetic field needs to be applied. HanPurple was covering all the terracotta warriors found in China. But the really interesting thing is what was found with the terracotta warriors. And that is rivers of mercury. A lot of people are familiar with mercury. They know it's used in thermometers and really good superconductor for heat. Mercury also has a few other properties. Now these rivers of mercury were found around the Dragon Emperor tombs in China. 8,000 terracotta warriors were found. They were all covered in HanPurple. And around where the actual emperor was buried were rivers of liquid mercury. You need to understand the other esoteric properties of mercury. Mercury is named after the planet Mercury, who was named after Hermes Trismegistus, a big figure in the occult. Reptilians rule the occult. They are the top of every secret society on this planet. So the symbology of royalty, purple, and mercury plays a huge part. What is the secret of mercury? The Nazis did experiments with liquid mercury, and they were trying to make anti-gravitational devices. And what they found was when you spun liquid mercury in circles, it created acute electromagnetic fields. The esoteric properties of HanPurple don't start to show until an electromagnetic field is applied to it. So now you start to understand the science behind this. Now HanPurple is a pigment. How they're using this with liquid mercury to achieve this means. There are a few things about the color purple. It's exclusively related to royalty. It is also represented in spirituality and wisdom. It's regarded as quite a rare color and can seem exotic or even artificial. Color purple is associated with psychic ability, wisdom, divination, remove curses, healing, psychic work, business success, to influence people in power. It's a powerful color with energies that can be difficult to manage. It can also be used to apply tyranny over others, the abuse of power, idealism, and influence people who have power over you. Great for inviting sadness and resentment in others. Jupiter rules the purple crown chakra and governs. Now that's a pretty reptilian description in itself. Reptilians feed off negative energy, so this only starts to make more sense. In occult circles, when dealing with words, there's a very simple way to break down words to find out hidden esoteric meanings within them. Double letters cancel each other out. Take the 2 P's out, you're left with 2 words. LE is the planet Saturn, that's L, reversed, and that's exclusive to the Illuminati, known as the Brotherhood of Saturn. You are, now a city in Babylon, which is where the reptilians go back to with the Anunnaki theory, and L, which is the planet Saturn, and a city in Babylon. But in simple terms, the 4th dimension is time. Time can also be related to a word known as chronos. A larger planet may have a different chronos than Earth, so spending 1,000 years on another planet could be only 10 minutes on Earth due to the chronos. Reptilians exist in the fourth dimension. They're utilizing time, and that's what they're using HanPurple for, is to break down that barrier of the dimensions. It could also mean where the theory of the immortal gods come from, meaning that they're spending a shorter time in their reality, posing as humans in this reality, which could explain how the gods could live for thousands of years here, but it may not be thousands of years in their time, because they're breaking the interdimensional barrier to go from the fourth dimension to the third dimension. In the Emerald Tablets of Thought, it was said that they didn't start to appear in this reality until they were summoned through occult ritual. They're now able to break interdimensional portals to come to this reality with the HanPurple Mercury. The third thing they need to shapeshift is the human genome, which is our DNA. Consuming the blood gives them the foundation for the human form. Now they need to keep consuming DNA to stay in that form, which is maybe where the term "you are what you eat" comes from. Now you can begin to understand how they're using HanPurple in the fourth dimension, using Mercury to create an acute electromagnetic field, whether it's a device on them or they're standing within something that's spinning the Mercury. They could break through the fourth dimensional barrier, which is time, basically come into our dimension. Now, how the hologram works, when shapeshifting, they're taking atoms, they have that coded through the DNA, which works a lot like computer software, and basically telling how the atoms to reconfigure themselves. And you now have a fourth dimensional being, and their reality are covered with HanPurple, inside an electromagnetic field being created by liquid mercury. In the human's third dimension, in human form, taking the elements in the third dimension, turning them into light back into matter, which would be the holographic human form. And that's how the shape shifting could work, back with real science.